It's another beautiful Monday morning, and we are back on your screen with fresh episodes from the Dailies. On this show, we bring to you breaking news events and as they unfold on our national dailies. And my name is Lois Suraki. Of course, I'm not doing this alone. I have Tosin Owolabi with me in the studio.
Good morning, Lois.
Good morning, Tosin.
Hope you had a good weekend.
Yes, I did. How was yours?
Fine, thank God.
Yes, so you can send your contributions and your comments on our Facebook page, and at 1:30 you can call. Our phone lines will be open and you can call to air in your views and your thoughts on issues and events we're going to be discussing this morning. Tosin, the first paper, please.
Yes, the first paper, we have the Leadership newspaper, and coming from the federal government, 102 died from 510 Lassa fever cases in 2021. And from Plateau State, gunmen kill 4 mining workers in Plateau. Gunmen have killed no fewer than 4 workers at the mining site in Dong village of Jos South local government of Plateau State. There's news gathered from locals that the armed men stormed the mining area in the evening of Saturday and started shooting randomly. The 4 workers reportedly fell to their bullets. It was also learned that a woman who survived the gun attack is receiving treatment in an undisclosed hospital. The police public relation officer PPRO Uba Ogaba confirmed that the attack was at 6:30 p.m. on the fateful day. Ogaba also confirmed that the casualty figure was 4, adding that the command had mobilized armed officers to the place to restore normalcy. Meanwhile, Governor Simon Lalong has said that he will not hesitate to sign the death warrant for any convicted kidnapper, as the anti-kidnapping law signed last year stipulates capital punishment. He commended the Operation Safe Haven for its effort in uniting diverse groups from Plateau, Bauchi, and Kaduna states. And still on the leadership, the digital disruption in financial institutions threaten job security, and Dangote cement capitalization rises to 4.8 trillion naira in 3 weeks. And you can find that story on page 33 of the Leadership newspaper. Bayelsa commissioners' abductors demand detainees swap. Ebubeagu Vigilante beheaded in Ebonyi State. Ebubeagu Vigilante beheaded in Ebonyi. And Super Eagles crash out of AFCON 2021. The Super Eagles of Nigeria have been knocked out of the ongoing African Cup of Nations AFCON holding in Cameroon. A second-half goal from Msakni was enough to send the 3-time African champions out of the tournament on Sunday. Nigeria 0-1 loss to the Carthage Eagle of Tunisia is coming hours after President Muhammadu Buhari had a video call with the team alongside the Minister of Sports, Sunday Dare, and President of the Nigerian Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick. Buhari had, during the call, urged the Super Eagles to bring the AFCON trophy back to the country. But the Super Eagles could not advance to the quarter-final stage of the AFCON as they succumbed to a 1-0 defeat to their Northern African rivals. While the big story on the leadership, APC chairmanship, aspirants bark on governors to survive consensus plot. The rider says party alert on fake registration website, 6 security agencies intervention. And that news can be found on page 4. And those are all the stories making headlines on the Leadership newspaper.
Thank you, Tosin. To Voice of Liberty newspaper, Nigeria's local debt to hit 43 trillion naira in 2022, according to reports. Lagos 2022 budget, Bola Tinubu to receive 8.1 billion naira monthly from 10% tax cuts. Abiola died after falling ill, wasn't killed. This is coming from General Abdusalami. He says he advised Obasanjo not to go into politics. Ministries can now award 1.499 billion naira contract without BPP. This is coming from the federal government. The big story here says my refinery will kick off before the September. It's coming from Aliko Dangote. President of Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, has said the Dangote refinery and fertilizer projects will come on stream before the end of the third quarter of this year. He disclosed this when the president of the African Development Bank, AFDB, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, led a delegation of the bank to the project site in Lagos. Kano. Many passengers feared dead as train crushes trailer and tricycle. 2023, Southeast won't accept vice presidential slots. Igbo leaders warn. And the last story here says Edo Vigilante rescues 28 victims of human trafficking. Chosen, it's good that the Aliko Dangote refinery is coming on board soon, so that probably this issue of petroleum will be able to get settled, and the issue of the fuel subsidy that it's ongoing, the removal and all of that, probably it will help. His refinery coming on board will help settle all these issues about removal of petrol subsidy and other things.
And again, he spoke about job creation. It's still another good thing, talking about his coming up as his factory coming up in Lagos State. He spoke about job creation, where it will be an avenue to create jobs for people, that's youths who don't have something doing at hand. And also this, we have to still plead, because we have the issue where the trucks have been causing different kind of collision accidents even on the highway. We still have a paper here on the Nigerian Tribune where the truck crushed some people on the highway. Even aside this job creation that Dangote is trying to provide for people, you should also look at the safety of people, and also the drivers should be safety conscious, and they should go through some kind of test before they can embark on journeys, because you see that they try to just take turns, not looking at their health. They are not considerate of their health. They just want to take turns because of the money they will get, looking at the ways that they can cause different accidents on our highways. And we have different history dating back where we have accidents. Even school children are involved in these accidents. So something should be done, in as much as it's creating job, in as much as it's helping to uplift the GDP of this country, in as much as it's doing things to partnering with the federal government to see that even roads can be constructed, and also other things that will be of benefit to Nigerians. We should also look at the health and safety of Nigerians on the highway, because now if you see all those big trucks, you see that most of those trucks are Dangote trucks. So we should look at the ways that the drivers can be checked. They should go through even the eye screening test by the federal road safety to make sure that they are okay, and even their health also, because before you can drive those trucks you need to be healthy, and also your eyes need to be in good condition before you can embark on those journeys and even drive those trucks. So those tests should be considered. It should not be like favoritism. It should not be like, okay, I know you, so I think you can drive small cars, then you can handle these cars. They should go through those tests so that we can avoid all these accidents along the highways.
It's a good thing though, and not just the refinery coming up, also the fertilizer plant as well. So I think it's a plus for Dangote. Next to the other newspaper,
which is the Nigerian Tribune, and we have an Ekiti 2022. APC can't win without Southern candidate, and this is coming from Bami Sile, with the writer saying PDP aspirant wants National Working Committee decision on crisis. And 112 illegal refineries discovered in Rivers, and this is coming from the Governor Nyesom Wike. Court strikes out suit challenging legality of Buni-led caretaker committee, backs Supreme Court validation of committee, with details in page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune. Nigeria's January bond issuance oversubscribed by 139 billion naira and coming from the DMO. Abiola took ill, died, not poisoned, Abdusalami claims. Former head of state General Abdulsalami Abubakar, retired, had revealed how the late Mko Abiola fell ill and died during a meeting with an American delegation in 1998. The former Nigerian leader said that Abiola was not killed, rather fell ill as against the popular story of the deceased being poisoned with tea. Abubakar revealed this in an interview on Sunday. He stated that his chief security officer, who was with the American delegation when Abiola died, called to inform him that the politician have given up the ghost. And a 4.1 trillion naira custom revenue target will threaten private investment, with details in page 6, and the big story on APC chairmanship aspirant under security scrutiny. President likely to get dossier under pressure to checkmate serving and ex-governors. Convention and acid test on Buhari's corruption war coming from the South-South group. Bala Buhari may join race. And many hospitalized as train crushes truck tricycle in Kano. Gunmen kill 4 mining workers in Plateau State. And bandits in military uniform kill 3, destroy 11 houses in Taraba. NDLEA intercept UK Saudi-bound cocaine concealed in synthetic hair. Raids Abuja Garden. Arrest 6 overdrug cookies and noodles. And the last story, Alao Akala among first persons I consulted when nominated vice president. This is coming from Yemi Oshibanjo. The writer says, as he visits Ubomosho, the late Olubadan family, and have a picture story here where we can see the vice president Yemi Oshibanjo and the Oyo State Governor Mr. Sheyi Makinde at the First Baptist Church Ubomosho for the burial thanksgiving of the son of Ubomosho, Oba Oladuni Oyewumi, third on Sunday. And those are all the stories on the Nigerian Tribune.
Thank you, Tosin. Moving next to Daily Independent. The big story says, despite oil at $87, FX scarcity, political risk may dwarf growth. Court orders impede removal of abandoned aircraft at airports. The writer says disused airplanes are security safety threats. This is coming from stakeholders. Removal process is ongoing, says FAAN, responsible for inability of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. Reprieve for Buni as court strikes out suits challenging CECPC legality. The writer says APC may swap NWC positions between North, South at convention. How Mko Abiola died. This is coming from Abdulsalami Abubakar. If you're interested in the story, you can find it on page 6 of Daily Independent newspaper. Fire guts food markets, mortuary in Anambra. The story can be found on page 6. NSITF revenue base hits 17 billion naira. You can find this story on page 7. NCOs reshuffles 5 directorate heads, redeploys 170 officers. And the last story here says NDLEA raids Abuja Garden, arrests 6 overdrug cookies and noodles. You can find the story on page 7 of the Daily Independent newspaper.
Moving to the Nation newspaper, conflicting rulings. Nigerian Bar Association yet to take actions on lawyers. No assets on the price, says AMCON. The rider says EFCC didn't arrest Kanu. And 2022, Oyetola challenges opponents to obtain forms. Eagles' poor taxes cost loss to Tunisia, says Okocha. And details can be found in page 10 of the Nation newspaper. APC, why we won't call NEC meeting before convention. State ESCOs for inauguration February 3rd. Rice revolution. CBN targets 20,000 naira per bag and fire raises market. While the big story on subsidy, Labour intensifies mobilization for protest. Planned action unnecessary, says federal government. What government should do by TUC. And here on the nation we have Silva insists no petrol subsidy withdrawal for now. And 6 months forex inflow can offset Nigerians' $44 billion debts. Downside, we have what Buni-led caretaker has achieved, and 112 illegal refineries found in rivers. And we can see the picture story, those who were intercepted with drugs by NDLEA, and we can see that the drugs that they were intercepted with, we just hope that something will be done. And this is just to commend the effort of the NDLEA officials, because you can see them in different places, different hideouts, just to get all those people who are drug barons and people who take drugs to other country, just to spoil the name of our country, just to spoil the name of Nigeria. We commend NDLEA officials, and we say they should put in more effort. And that's all for the Nation newspaper.
Thank you, Tosin. Moving next to Al Jazeera, Nigeria. The big story here says power shift. 1,000 CSOs storm Abuja for rally. The rider says visit APC PDP offices today. Demand president of Southern extraction. Equity, fairness must prevail, coming from leader. To hold all civil society West Africa Economic Conference on Wednesday. You can find the story on page 7. 2023, Afegboa dumps Atiku, roots for Southern presidential candidates. Nothing can make me return to party politics. This is coming from Obasanjo. If you're so interested in this story, you can find it on page 7 of Nigeria, Al Jazeera Nigeria newspaper. On Lassa fever, says Lassa fever claims 102 Nigerians in 2021. This is coming from the federal government. And Serap sues federal government in ECOWAS court over borrowings. The story, you can find it on page 11. Dangote refinery to reduce Africa's petroleum importation by 36%. And the last story here says NDLEA raids Abuja Garden, arrests 6 over drug cookies. Just like you mentioned about the effort that the NDLEA just did in arresting all these people. Like, can you imagine them putting drugs in the cookies or something like that? And that was something really, I don't even know the word to use right now, but then it was a good move that the NDLEA did to get confiscate all these things, so that people will not get, no matter how they try to get all these things, you still find out that there are loopholes, but then they should keep trying and doing their best to see how they can get all these things done and take all these drugs from these people.
Yes, Lois. Moving to the Punch newspaper, 5G deployment gets boost. CBN gives Telecos Forest priority. And Police Service Commission summons IG over police recruitment. Workers set for strike, with details in page 8. And you know, when you talk about the Police Service Commission, they talk about their retirement plan, talking about their pension. That is not coming as it's supposed to be. And now we have the issue, the Police Service Commission, that is summoning the Inspector General of Police concerning police recruitment and even the workforce, how the work is supposed to be. When you talk about the equipment that they're supposed to use, I know we have the issue where equipment are missing in the armory of the police. And now we can see that the Service Commission are summoned. They will summon the IG of police to give details of how this arms are missing, and also give details on this police recruitment, because yes, we need more workforce. We need more workforce to fight insecurity. Then how are they going about all this? And also those who have retired after service, how is their pension coming? Because when you see police, the retired pensioners of police, they talk about their pension not coming as it's supposed to be, and also the amount is not what is not helping them. The amount is not, it can't take them, it can't sustain them, and also that of their family. So we just hope that after the service commission summoned the IG, the outcome will be positive. Then they can help those people on ways that after service, because they've given out given out their life in fighting for peace in this country. They've risked their life, because we have people who, even after going for war, going to peacekeeping, they call, even on their way they die. Some even die at the peacekeeping. So something needs to be done when you talk about their retirement, their pension, and even gratuity of those who lost their life. Their family are yet to receive all this amount, all this money, and you see them wallowing in poverty after their loved one died in trying to fight for the cause of this country. So we just hope that the outcome coming from the service commission in relation with the IG of police will be positive, and those who have lost their life, they'll put smiles on their faces, and even those that are still in the battleground trying to fight for the peace of this country, something will be done. Then the issue of arms that are missing, we need to see the outcome being positive on how they can recover all this arm, and those who are found wanting should face the full wrath of the law, because it's not only civilians that should face the full wrath of the law, even those that are in the service, even those that are in military also. If you are found wanting, if you go against the rules, if you go against the law, you should also face the full wrath of the law.
Just like you said, some 2 weeks ago, we saw how the military too, where the pensioners of the military too were there struggling and protesting because they were not paid their pension as well. So just like you said, they should look into this. These are people that have given their lives, sacrificed their time and everything just to fight for the peace and of the country, going for peacekeeping and all. So many people have died in Boko Haram,
trying to capture them, trying to get people back to their bases and all of that. So it's good that they are being paid their pensions and their gratuity. So we just urge that these things should be looked into, so these people can get their source of livelihoods, of course. Yes, I'm coming from the Minister of Labour. Sacked NSITF management, saved 2 billion naira, left 30 billion naira debts. And US team chief security officers witnessed Mko Abiola's death in Abuja clinic. And this is coming from Abdul Salami. We're still on the Punch newspaper. Wheat production crashes by 89.4%. Bakery operators lament. Rising governance caused recession. Others raise federal government spending by 183%. And this is a report that can be found in page 32 of the Punch newspaper. The big story on Electoral Act amendment. Bill bars voters from contesting candidates' certificates in court. The rider says only co-contestants at primaries can sue on candidate certificates and credentials, coming from ex-INEC director. And new provision will be challenged. National Assembly can't masquerade those seeking office, says SAN. Yam thief shoots farm owner to death in Osun, suspects arrested. This is a sad story coming from Osun State. Still talking about insecurity, talking about theft in different locality. And now we can see that a yam thief shot a farm owner who have toiled in seeing that the yam will come out well. He has toiled when you talk about his labor and also getting fertilizer to see that he have good products in his farm. And now we can see that a yam thief went there to shoot. Something needs to be done. This is where we talk about the state policing. If we have state policing, because the eyes of the police can't be everywhere. Yeah. The eyes of the military can't be everywhere. When you have state police, they know the nooks and the nooks and the crannies, yes, in different places, even in the bush, in the farm, something would need to be done. And now if you apprehend, thank God the thief have been apprehended, he will narrow it down to hunger. That's what they narrow everything down to, is hunger. It's the devil's work. Something needs to be done, because even with hunger, they said an hungry man is an angry man. Even with hunger, you see that people do different things just to see that they put food on their table. We are not justifying that action, but we need where the government can create create opportunities for people. And thank God, with the rice pyramid, talking about where it can create, it can provide food for people, and food will be, the prices of food will be dropped down. Like now we have the rice will be 20,000 naira per bag, where the prices of food can be dropped down for people. Even the common man can have access to food, and even cattle. But we just hope that something will be done about it, because all this theft, if there is food available, if people can go to their farm freely, you can see the farmer headers clashes. And now this is not just the farmer header clashes, now it's been like an inside walk, where a thief will go to different farms, just look out for farms that have this good produce, and kill the owner. You can see that a breadwinner is being killed. Now how do the family go about all this? Something needs to be done about it. If our state policing can do their work as they're supposed to do, and if they can be brought back, if they can do their work as it's supposed to be, so that we will not have issues of thieves, we will not have issues of thieves going to the farm to apprehend people. And again, people will have the boldness to be able to go to their farm and do what they are supposed to do, because we know that when we talk about the olden days, people go to their farm freely. They go from morning and come back late at night. But now people just look at during the daytime, just go to their farm and do little things, because of the insecurity that is happening and the ways people are being killed in their farm. So we just hope that something will be done about it, so that people will be able to go there to their farm. Because if people can go to their farm, definitely food will be available in the market, and also the prices will not be high because foods are available. But if food are not available, that's when we have issue where the prices are hiked, and people will not have access to good food. People will not have access to food in the market.
So it's just a sad one, though, just like you said.
And here, okay, sorry.
Okay, just continue.
Sorry, and here, Federal Road Safety Corps plans rather guns as 300 killed in 2021 Ogun crashes. Shuns sexual engagement, Elizade can't harbor pregnant students, coming from the Vice Chancellor of Elizade University. And NDLEA sees UK Saudi-bound cocaine in weeks, 6 arrested in Abuja. Lagos businessman tortures apprentice to death over missing 1,000 naira, and he flees, with details on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. Stop imposing hijab, berets on students, Kwara warns principals. Details can be found in page 41, and that's all for the Punch newspaper.
Thank you, Tosin. Moving to Daily Trust newspaper. Over 100 consultants left Nigeria in 2 years. This is coming from MDCAN. 2023, it's unjust for North to retain power. It's coming from Yakasai. Dangote's petrochemical plant will accelerate Africa's economic growth. It's coming from Adeshina. The big story here says 2023, Wike moves against Atiku Saraki, courts five governors. The writer says former VP ex-Senate president declares soon. Everyone can contest, PDP board member. We are not aware Atiku's side. Atiku's delay gives Rivers governor winning hand. This is coming from Varsity Dawn. Still on 2023 challenges before Oshibajo. You can find the story on page 12. 4 killed, 20 arrested in Lagos Cold War. And on sports, Super Eagles AFCON journey ends abruptly after 0-1 loss to Tunisia. It's a sad one for the Super Eagles and for Nigerians as well, because people really anticipated something good that will come out from AFCON. Nigerians, the Super Eagles actually have really done well. Their past matches with other countries, we've seen how they tried their best. They won most of their matches, and then yesterday it was as in our spirit was just crushed. Let me say it was crushed because they lost to Tunisia. Looking at the situation in which the Tunisian team was in, they had 7 of their players on isolation due to COVID-19, and also their coach too was on isolation due to COVID-19. And then we saw how they were able to win the Super Eagles without much strength or without so much without so much effort on their side. It just crushed our dear Super Eagles like that. It was a sad one for me though.
And talking about this Super Eagles match, it has been something that have been putting smiles on the faces of Nigerians because of how our Super Eagles are working hard and also winning in different games that they had. And now looking at this issue, even after the video call they made with Mr. President and even the promises, even Dangote also made promises to them. Otedola also made promises to the Super Eagles that if they can come home with this trophy, there will be a massive celebration and also some amount of money will be given to them. But we still say they've tried hard, they've tried their best. But in other matches, subsequent matches, they need to put in more effort. And also their coach should train them also on ways they can attack their opponents and also other teams when they come to play their different matches. And looking at the National Economy newspaper.
Toasting, before we go into that newspaper, let's take a quick break. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Ụmụnna ndị Igbo, ana m agwa unu okwu a site n'ike nke Chineke. Ọnụ ụlọ anya na ọnwa abụọ nke dị n'ihu anyị na-aga inwe vote ịhọpụta ndị gị president, onye gị president, ndị senate, ndị House of Representatives, governors na ndị elekọta iwu na steeti. Biko anyị na-arịọ unu si onye ọbụla pụta n'igwe. Ọ bụrụ ma ịnweta bụ ihe a na-akpọ voters card, gaa ebe ahụ idenyere aha gị, jụọ ha ga-ewepụta ya. Anyị wepụtara akwụkwọ a do were eche ka ndị mmadụ bịa were ya. Ọtụtụ ọnụọgụgụ dị ndị na-abịa bụ bịa were nke ha. Anyị chọrọ ịhọpụta onye gị leta ndị Igbo anya. Anyị chọrọ ịhọpụta onye gị leta Naịjirịa anya. Anyị chọrọ ịhọpụta onye gị ime ụmụ anyị enweta ọrụ. Anyị chọrọ ịhọpụta onye gị ime ka okwu Chineke nke anyị na-efe wee na-aga n'ihu. Onye biri ọ dị chiki chọrọ ikpe ga-ekpewu ya. Ọ bụghị mmadụ chọọ ikpe chiki ya gị sị ha ọ gaghị ikpe ha. Anyị chọkwara onye gị ime inwe ihe a na-akpọ property maọbụ ala maọbụ ụlọ maọbụ ihe ọzọ, ahapụrụ gị ya ga-ewere ya mee ihe. Ọ bụghị mmadụ bịa ya ewere ike were egbera mma bibịa naraghị ala gị sa ya ọ chọrọ iji hụ ịzụ anụmanụ. A na-eme ya otu ahụ. Ọ na ị nwere ihe ị na-eme ịchọrọ ịzụ anụmanụ, gị ga-azụrụ ala ebe ị ga-anọ zụọ ha. Ọ wụghị hafụ anụ ụlọ gị ya na-atabuso eke ndị ọzọ. Akụ ọ dịka karịrị bịa. Biko ụmụnna m, ana m arịọ unu jisie ike gaa tụọ vootu ka anyị họpụta ndị ga-eme ka ala Naịjirịa dere mma dere duu dịka ọ dịla mbụ. Ana m ekele unu mgbe unu na-eme ka onye nwe gọzie unu n'aha Jizọs. Amen.
Yan uwana maza da mata, ina nan domin in gayyace ku kuma in sanar da ku cewa ikon da ke da shi ita ce wannan katin ka na zabe. Idan kuwa dama baka samu ba, ina roko ka je inda ya kamata ka karba domin ita ce za ta baka yanci na zaɓin wanda kake bukata. Kuma ina roko kada ka barnatar da katinka, ka zaɓi wadda kake so, wadda kuwa zai iya zaman shugabanka, ka yarda shine shugaban naka, wadda kuwa zai iya ƙare dukiyarka, ya ƙare mallakarka, ya ƙare kasarka. Kada ka bar wani ya zo yaudare ka, kada ka yadda ka tsaye da yancinka, kada ka jefa kuriya domin neman kuɗi. Ka jefa kuriyan nan domin kana bukata mutum wadda zai zagorce ka ya shugabance ka. Ka yi zaɓe da hikima, ka yi zaɓe cikin hankalinka. In ka jefa kuriyanka ka bar wuri. Na gode.
You're welcome back. It's still from the Dailies on ECAWA Television Africa. I am Lois Turaki, and I still have Tosin Owolabi with me here in the studio. So going straight to the next newspaper, Tosin.
Yes, which is National Economy. Dangote's petrochemical fertilizer plant will accelerate Africa's economic growth. Coming from African Development Bank, as Dangote's cement capitalization rises to 4.8 trillion naira. And here the big story, Nigeria's debt profile may hit 43 trillion naira in 2022. Analysts raise concern over debt servicing. An environmental professional at Berger Paint Nigeria PLC, and Lekki Deep Sea Port to be completed in 2022. Clearing agents kick against custom 4.1 billion naira revenue target and modernization. And we have a picture story here. The wife of the president, African Development Bank, Yemisi Adesina, the president, CEO of Dangote Industry Limited, Aliko Dangote, and African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, Chairman Gregu Power PLC Femi Otedola during the African Development Bank President familiarization visit to the Dangote Oil Refinery project in Lekki, Lagos. That's all the story on the National Economy newspaper.
Thank you, Tosin. A quick reminder to our viewers that our phone lines are open and you can call in to give you air in your views and also to add your thoughts to the show. Going to the Business Day newspaper, the interesting story here says small businesses in unending battle against dollar shortages. That's all the story that is on the Business Day newspaper.
Yes, and for New Telegraph, Nupeng, 42 labor affiliated to battle planned fuel hike as oil workers await FEC meeting outcome. And banking profits to remain weak, says Augusto, with details in page 23. And Nigerian crashes out of AFCON. B Faso beats 10-man Gabon on penalty to reach quarters. Soludo talks tough, says he will correct lots of ills from March 17. With Ayu, PDP will recapture power in 2023, says Hayatuddin. Return to Niger Delta, ex-agitators beg company. The rider says condemn proliferation of illegal refineries. And the big story on June 12, how I managed Abiola's case by General Abubakar, lists 3 factors that helped him ease political tension, says he never fancied politics. 5-year-old Hanifa murder, others Nigerians have lost their humanity, coming from Bishop Kaigama. And the writer says 2023 aspirants should note that pandemic, insecurity, poverty have traumatized citizens. Beware of aspirants being sold by sycophants. This is coming from Nkere. And downside of the New Telegraph 2023 presidency, Atiku, PDP should concede ticket to South, says Afebwa. Artificial pancreas benefits children with type 1 diabetes, and this is a study that can be found in page 7. And those are all the stories making headlines on the New Telegraph newspaper.
Going to Vanguard newspaper, Abiola was not killed, he died after falling ill, says Abdul Salami. The story, you can find it on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Bandits attack, 3 killed, 300 missing houses burned. I'll take that again. Bandits attack, 3 killed, 300 missing houses burned in Taraba village. The story, you can find it on page 4. Irate youths protest killing of Okada man by police officer, set barracks on fire in Kogi. The big story here says Nigeria, others face tighter financing as US hikes rates. If you're so interested in the story, you can find it on page 19 of Vanguard newspaper. Shake-up in correctional service. 170 officers redeployed. Ngige gives NSITF January 2022 deadline to readjust salary structure. External reserves declines further to $40.39 billion. 2023 Obasanjo's rebuff of PDP, sign of imminent failure. This is coming from Okechukwu. You can find the story on page 2. Nigeria's 10.5 million out-of-school children population highest worldwide, according to UNICEF. Abia APC crisis. MNK's faction accuses Reconciliation Committee of bias. You can find the story on page 8. Taraba government, Muslim council in war of words over appointments. And the last story here says Dangote Petrochemicals fertilizer plant will accelerate Africa's economic growth. And it's coming from AFDP president. You can find the story on page 33 of the Vanguard newspaper. These are all the stories you can find on the Vanguard newspaper.
Yes, Lois, I would like to talk about the story we say shake up in correctional service. 170 officers redeployed. You know that the Minister of Interior visited all those correctional centers and he spoke about the places congested because most of all those culprits there are on trials. Lois, when you have someone who is on the list of murder, what should be done about such person? Definitely, if you commit murder, you should be killed. Why keep those such people there? Because they are still the ones that their loved one, their counterparts come after them. And you see the issue of prison break in our prison, in our correctional centers. Now, all this issue of people kept there on trials, the law should be passed on them. We shouldn't keep all those people there and the prison will be congested, because we need to decongest the prison, because with the issue of insecurity and also the issue of theft happening in and out in different places, we have people that will go to such places definitely. So looking at our prisons, all those people that are on trial, the law should be passed on them. If those that are guilty, they should face the full wrath of the law, and those that are innocent, they should go back to their loved one, because you see that a culprit will be kept for 5-6 years and you say he is on trial. Every day they are having court session, the court's being adjourned from one moment to the other. Something needs to be done, because if we really need to decongest the prison, then all those people, their cases should be looked into. Then the law should be passed on them. Those that are innocent should go back, and those that are guilty should face the full wrath. Because I wonder, while you are on the list of murder, why should you be kept for that long in a prison? That's why you see that we have issues of prison break. Something needs to be done, because now when 170 officers are redeployed, for what? Something needs to be done about all these places so that we can decongest this prison. Then all these officers can go to other prisons, because when you look at other prisons, there are other prisons that don't even have enough officers that are guarding those places. That's why we see that all these people can go into those such places freely and have issues where we have prison break and they are not caught. So looking at the way that the Minister of Interior have gone round the prisons, he has had correctional center tour to see ways they can look at ways that these places can be decongested. Something needs to be done, because aside the tour, we should have the outcome. It should be very fast. The outcome on ways they can see that these places can have safety. Safety should be guaranteed, and also those people that are waiting on the trial list, because that is the important thing. Because why keep people for that long and judgment have not been passed on them? Judgment should be passed on them so that they can know their fate, because people are there, they don't even know their fate. They don't know what's my offense. I don't know if I'll be killed or I'll be left to go home freely to my loved one. So the judgment should be passed very fast on these people.
And you know, sometimes I wonder why they even call it correctional center. When you go there, if you have visited a prison before, like, I don't even see any correctional anything they are doing there, because the life those people are living there, it's devastating. Like it's something you cannot even imagine, as in wish your enemy to be in that kind of situation. It's terrible, Tosin. Like, and imagine people, just like you said, that are awaiting trial, court sessions being adjourned from every now and then and all of that. They find themselves kept in that place, undergoing several and severe tortures and all of that. So something needs to be done. It's not about deploying 170 officers to only one correctional center. No, it's not enough. Like, they need to be everywhere so that these things will be done. These prisoners that are waiting trial will get themselves sorted out, and those people that are free will go to their loved ones, just like you said. So they should do something about it. Our prison, the situation in our prisons are really terrible. It's so bad.
Lois, we can't compare it with foreign countries, because if you see the correctional center of foreign countries, even they learn skill acquisition, because after they are being released, they go out and have something that they can do with their hands. You see that even sporting activities, they do different sporting activities even in the correctional center. But ours reverses the case. You see that a small room be confined to a lot of people there, and you see that they go through different tortures. Aside from the tortures they receive from those that are guarding them, even amongst themselves, they go through different tortures even in the prison. Something needs to be done about it, because we should not just redeploy officers to such places and leave another correctional center that is suffering, where we deploy a whole lot of officers to a particular correction center, and you see that havoc could be done in other places. Something really needs to be done about all this. And moving to this day newspaper, Dangote oil refinery to begin production before third quarter 2022, with business mogul fortune up $1.3 billion this year on cement firm gains. Hayatuddin, ex-banker, sign up for PDP, says Nigeria headed in wrong direction. And beaten Super Eagles crash out of AFCON in Cameroon. With new portal, CBN moves to halt over invoicing by importers. The rider says exporters also guilty of under-invoicing. Action will preserve Nigerian scarce forests. And the big story on this day says, with global stock in red, Nigerian market gains 2.46 trillion naira in 3 weeks. Dangote Cement, Boa Foods boy performance and increased liquidity responsible for massive gain, expert says. And the last story and the downside of this day, we have again, court strikes out suit challenging legality of Boni-led CPC. And the picture story, state banquet for the president. Those are all the stories on this day newspaper.
Thank you, Tosin. Moving to Dailies on newspaper. Why Southeast is missing in police hierarchy. This is coming from PSC. The writer says begins sensitization of Igbo youth. You can find the story on page 8. The big story here says 2023 opposition mounts for Atiku. The writer says Afebwa PDP chieftain kicks against ex-VP's aspiration routes for southern candidates. Group launches campaign for Oshibajo. Okorocha joins race, declares this week. You can find the story on page 6. Confusion, anxiety over planned subsidy removal. 1.3 trillion naira NPL's recovery hurdles hurt banks' operations. You can find the story on page 2 if you're so interested in it. Borno College's bully victim in intensive care. The writer says government institutes, government constitutes pro-panel. Kanu commiserates with family of slain 5-year-old Kanu pupil. To this story again about bullying in secondary schools. You see here, it's in Borno College, bully victim in intensive care, and then a 5-year-old slain in Kano. These stories are so sad that very young children that are still coming up to adulthood are having this kind of bad thoughts, bad activities of having, like, bullying other juniors, and then to the extent of even killing them. We've seen the story of the Oromini's son who died as a result of bullying in the school, and all of the case has been ongoing in the courts, and several issues came out from that. And from there we saw the mother coming out to cry out and to lay curses on the people that are behind the death of our child. And now we are seeing another story of children being bullied, and one is in intensive care unit and the other has been 5-year-old being slain in secondary school. It's just so devastating. Like, I even wonder why parents will take a 5-year-old child to a boarding school. Like, this is a period when a child needs his parent to be with him, like, to help him grow well, and then you carry this child and keep him in a boarding school. Like, how is he supposed to take care of himself?
Lois, looking at this is where we talk about the educational sector is suffering, because looking at, we have the issue of Sylvester, and we still had other issues on students that were bullied in different schools, either in the primary or even in the university, and also now in secondary, and now we have issues of Hanifa, who was killed, a 5-year-old girl who was killed by her school principal, saying he gave her rat poison to take. You can see that so many things are happening, and now the answer is not just closing the school, because closing the school is not just the solution. We had where the school where Sylvester Oromini attended was closed, and now it's open. People are going back to their normal activities. School is in session in such school, and now we see that the school, the Noble school in Kano, has been shut down. Shutting down such school is not just the answer. All these culprits should be apprehended, because now we see that bullying is now in the secondary school. Even in primary school, we see issues of children being bullied, students being bullied, up to taking the rate at which their lives are being taken as a result of all this bullying. Something needs to be done about it, because I keep on saying that even before teachers should be recruited, they should go through some kind of test. It's either mental test, psychological test, because I wonder how someone that is in his or her right senses will do such thing to a student. And again, you see the issue where students transferred, you are being transferred from a particular school. The school will not go through the details why why you are leaving your former school, or why you were driven out from your former school. They just take you in their school just to have number of pupils in their school, just for the money. People look out just for the money, not looking at the background, your background, and also why you are leaving your former school. You just take students, and you see that those are the people causing havoc in different schools. Look at this student now that he's in ICU because of bully. You can see the result of bully. Look at students losing their life as a result of bully, either from students to students, or even the teachers to students. You see that parents need to look at the different moves their children make, even while going to school. There are people who willingly are happily they want to go to school, and there are children who cry all day because they don't want to go to school. We should not take those such things with levity. Look at all these things and know why your child is refusing to go to school, because so many things might be happening to the child even at school. You can see this issue of bullying. It results to low self-esteem in a child. Something needs to be done about it. Closing the school is not just the solution, it's not just the answer, but such people should face the full wrath of the law. They should go through the wrath of the law, because all these things are not just normal.
Choosing well, quickly, court strikes out suits challenging legality of Buni-led CECPC, backs Supreme Court's validation. The other big story here says electoral bill battle hots up in NAS. Senate reps shift fight on consensus option to conference committee. These are all the papers we can take on from the dailies this morning. Tosin, last words for our viewers.
Yes, do one thing every day that scares you.
And I want to leave you with this: nothing is impossible. The word itself says, "I'm possible." Thank you for watching from the Dailies from our studio from ECWA Television Africa, and have a blessed day.